evening's webinar is, as I say, it's scheduled to go through till 12 o'clock. We'll have the presentation from three colleagues from Kooble, Stephen McNamee, who's the sales director, Ronnie Somerville, who's the founder of 5PM and the brains behind Kooble. Or maybe that's being generous to you, Ronnie, you can pay me later, the brains behind Kooble, and Ruth, who is the head of marketing, and they'll all contribute. So the presentation, as I say, will be about sort of 25 minutes in length. And then importantly, what we want to hear is obviously questions from those of you on the call today, to any of those three colleagues from Kooble, who I'm sure will be happy to ask and respond. The main aim is to, again, familiarise you with what's already a live product and a great addition, I think, to the booking scene, and it's one that I've been very close to from the outset of the idea, and delighted to see it now come to fruition, because I think I said back to Ronnie Somerville, one of my very first days in this job 11 years ago, I was then speaking to the then finance director of Visit Scotland, and he was talking about just how much commission our industry gives away to third parties, and wouldn't it be fantastic if we could take more of that commission back and reinvest it into the Scottish tourism product as well. So a great opportunity, and Kooble obviously is exactly a vehicle that will do that. So a game changer opportunity. So again, if you're not on mute already, if you could mute yourself now. There is a chat function. I would appreciate if you've got questions as well. By all means, put them in the chat function if you're familiar with that. And when we do get to the question and answer session at the end of the presentation, if you could raise your hand, you should see a hand icon at the top of your screen. If you can put your hand up now on Teams, if you're familiar with it, it obviously gives you a batting order, which is great. So I can come to you in order and then get the question out and posed to the Kooble colleagues. So I think that's probably us. We'll keep letting people in as they arrive, but conscious of time now. So Iona, if you can take this slide down and then load up the Kooble presentation, and Stephen, I'll hand over to you to take it from here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll load up the Kooble presentation here, if that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Here we go.
Can everybody see that okay?
That's good. If you can go into presentation mode, and then we're good to go.
Okay, can everybody hear me okay? See me okay?
That's great, Stephen. Yeah, all good.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Welcome. A big thank you to Mark Shore and the team for organising, and thanks, Mark, for stealing half the pitch in your introduction there. That was really good of you. For organising today, and a big welcome to everybody. We're super excited to introduce Kooble. This has been 18 months in the making, and we really look forward to sharing with you what we feel will be a real force for a good force in domestic booking space. Kooble just isn't a fairer platform. It's something we think that can change the status quo. Simply put, booking but better. So why disrupt? Well, why indeed? Look, there's a glaring issue in the booking market. Up to 30%, as Mark had said, 30% of revenue is leaving in costs and commissions just to attract some of the customers that are closest to you, customers that are right on your doorstep. There's a massive dependence on international booking sites. There's a duopoly and a monopoly on there, but there's exorbitant commissions, and there's also a need now to drop your rates and offer more for less, coupled with rising costs. I don't need to tell anybody about the price of electricity, food and beverage, interest rates, salary costs. But I don't want to get too depressive here, because look, we're all aware of the industry and the challenge we face in the time ahead. But look, what we think is an answer is we want to work together, and we would actually say there is a need to work together to take back some control. So what's the solution? I'd like to bring in Ronnie for the CEOs of 5PM, the member of Kooble. Ronnie, it's his vision, and he'd like to explain some of the solutions that Kooble can offer.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. We believe that a cooperative structure is the answer to the problem. Booking is what's called in the technical terms a two-sided market problem, the kind of problem that Uber had, the kind of problem that Skyscanner had and had to solve. But the crucial insight is that you, the hotels and other hospitality businesses, have both sides of the two-sided market. You have the rooms, but you also, between you, have all the guests. And it is the cooperative structure that allows that unique insight to be leveraged. And as Mark said, people have thought about this before, and we know at least one DMO has spec'd out a plan to make it happen. But it's never happened in the 10 years between Mark's conversation that he mentioned earlier and now. It's never happened. And we believe that 5PM is the missing piece of the jigsaw to make it happen. It is the technical platform, it has the people, it has the processes, it has the users, and it has the reputation. And put all that together and put it into a cooperative structure, and with the ability for you guests to invest as well, then we believe that it is possible to redefine the booking landscape in Scotland and, as Stephen says, bring back revenue into the industry at a time when it has never been needed more. Stephen?
Thank you. So say hello to Kooble. Kooble is a new cooperative booking platform. It's co-owned by Scottish hospitality businesses. That's you. Booking but better. You hear this tagline, booking but better, throughout the presentation, hopefully in the months and years to come. It's a key element of what we're trying to do here. It's better for the members, it's better for the consumer. We're building a movement. It's been amazing so far to see what we've received in terms of support from the industry, from the hotels and restaurants alike. So what we're looking to do is try to add some real value to a sustainable, attractive hospitality industry. So for those of you who are unfamiliar how a cooperative works, never mind a cooperative booking platform, look, it's all about scale. The more members that join, the more owners and members we have, then the more members that we have, the more inventory we can put on the site, therefore more consumers will book. Because you actually co-own the platform, that allows everybody to be a little bit more competitive, because you do receive a dividend each year. You're paying less commission, therefore you can put your best rates and packages on Kooble. So it's all working together, and look, that leads to more dividends.
Stephen, you're on mute.
You're back with us, Stephen.
Sorry, yeah. Is that better?
Yeah.
Sorry. How much of that did we miss?
We
just after Ronnie?
Yeah.
All right. Somebody else needs to be. Sorry. So say hello to Kooble. Is that okay for everybody? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Apologies, everyone. I was going on there. So Kooble's a new cooperative booking platform. It's co-owned by Scottish hospitality businesses. Now the key element to this is it's booking but better. We hope that it's better for members, it's better for the consumer. This booking but better will be a key element that you'll hear throughout this presentation in the weeks and hopefully months to come. We're building a movement, and we want to create a sustainable and attractive hospitality industry and add some real value to that. So for those of you that are unfamiliar of how a cooperative platform works, and certainly how a cooperative booking platform will work, well, first of all, it's all about scale. So the more members that join, the more owners we have, and the more members that can contribute to growing that scale, and then have the best rates and packages on Kooble. So because you own co-own the platform, that allows you to get a little bit more competitive. It allows more consumers to have a look and actually see, the best rates on Kooble. And because of that, you can actually get dividends. It's all about giving back. Because you co-own the platform, the more members that are in it, the more consumers book, the more profits there are, the more dividends. So what are the benefits? So the benefits are, first of all, saying goodbye to losing your commission. Now, each and every single Kooble member will receive a dividend at the end of each year. So Kooble aims to rebate up to 50% of the commission to each member. Essentially, you're the shareholders. There's no profits lost to outside shareholders. Obviously, the greater profits are returned to you. That's the investment opportunities for you, the business and the team, and also help combat those rising costs in other areas that I spoke about earlier on. Now, because obviously there is a bit of a profit to be made from Kooble, that allows you to increase your capital properties, and obviously an investment into a successful booking platform will increase your capital values. There are many benefits to being a cooperative. We've kind of just scratched the surface on some of them. One of them that's quite obvious is providing an alternative to virtual credit cards and their high fees. speaking to a lot of the customers we deal with, it seems a bit of a high bar or an access to get your own revenue. That shouldn't really come at cost at a high fee. So Kooble, because of obviously economies of scale, are able to negate that and offer an alternative. So the cornerstone of our message, and this has been really great to take to market, is there is a Scotland focus. It is a Scotland focus. It's owned by you and other members of the Scottish hospitality industry. Kooble will boost the financial collective power and create a more ethical industry. Because it's owned by you, there's one share, one vote, one voice. So because it's more sustainable, it's great for the ecosystem of Scottish domestic tourism. Because we're actually initially targeting Scottish domestic bookers, we'll let everybody know by booking through Kooble, customers we're making a conscious choice to support Scotland and a fairer platform. Now, people, when they're looking to try book or spend any kind of money, booking ethically is clear now. It's understood that that's what customers are looking for. Knowing that and using this platform, it actually gives Kooble such a really great USP. So we're making that message clear. We hope to make Scotland a leader in 21st century hospitality. So big plans for the future, stage 2. I'm going to bring Ronnie back. Hopefully he's not on mute, and to chat in more detail about that, Ronnie.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Yeah, there is a bigger vision to this. If Kooble is a success in Scotland, then the idea is that a stage 2 business is formed that will raise capital from international investors and Scottish investors and rewrite the platform in a white label, multilingual form using the best modern coding practices. And importantly, early adopter members of the Scottish cooperative Kooble will be awarded shares in an option pool in that company pro rata to the business that they have done. So that's an extra upside. And the concept is that we will license this platform to any group of hospitality people, hoteliers, anywhere in the world who have the same problem that we have in Scotland. What we'll be offering is the platform, the technical platform, the playbook, and the processes that will allow them to replicate Kooble in their own geographies. So the upside is that hopefully, if Kooble is a success, that there will be an international business that you will also be a part owner of. And that international business will be able to share the development costs across multiple co-ops anywhere. And if we can do that, then I think we can certainly fulfill the vision that was in the 2030 Scotland tourism document, which said that Scotland would be the leader in world hospitality. If we can make Kooble a success in Scotland and we can build this technical platform to share it with other people, then we can certainly fulfill that vision. Stephen?
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you. Now, because this is powered by 5PM, it was actually clear as when we went through the branding process of changing to Kooble. Just checking I'm not on mute now. Is that okay? Yeah. Look, because we're powered by 5PM, that was to get that brand authority was really good, and it was something we wanted to keep in a sense, because we're not coming from a standing start. We've got all the benefits surely of a new platform that Kooble will add, and but along with that, 22 years of industry experience that 5PM would be able to bring. So it'll benefit from an established technical platform that Ronnie said earlier, a robust booking engine, along with the experience and a 5-star customer care, 4.7 score Trustpilot that's been garnered over decades, and email marketing experience, and social media know-how. Essentially, we know how to sell hospitality. We've been doing it for decades. So along with that, we're actually bringing along to this party 5PM, 300,000 dedicated active bookers that are dying-the-wool hospitality bookers, people that book restaurants, people that book hotels in Scotland and have always done. So because your share, and essentially in the business, gives you ownership of all these assets, Kooble will be ready to process bookings from day one. I mean, this isn't a startup that we would have to work for 3 years to get to any kind of stage. I think this would be year 5 in any startup business. So we're ready to go straight away. And that's always a great thing. So next is obviously that's with the consumers and everything else. We can help with and assist with DMOs. Ronnie, I'm bringing Ronnie back in again this because he's obviously quite keen to talk about that. So I'll let you go, Ronnie.
Yeah. in the early days, when I was doing the very first presentations about this to people to find out whether there was an appetite for it or not, somebody asked the perceptive question, well, what about the DMOs? And I hadn't actually thought about that, but there is actually a very elegant answer to that. Kooble will be able to provide APIs to the DMOs, which will mean that they can take everything that Kooble has and apply it to the subset of the members that are in their DMO. So Kooble's doing all the hard work and will solve the booking problem for each individual DMO. And of course, there will be a revenue share with the DMO, because it will be the DMO that's brought the customer to make the booking. Stephen?
Perfect. Okay, now into cost savings. Look, we've talked about the aspirational aspects of the brand, the identity, and the problem that exists in the industry. That's all very well and good, but we need to have some attractive cost savings along with this, and that's where Kooble really comes into its own, actually. So we've got a small illustration here of, and we can do this for restaurants, we can do this for attractions as well, but we've particularly picked a hotel booking or a direct booking within a hotel for this. So the three examples would be a direct booking, a Kooble booking, and an OTA standard booking. So if we look at £120 direct booking minus the VAT and the payment fees, a net revenue of £98.80 would be booking direct. Excellent. Take that, on the other hand, to an OTA booking with an average cost of around 18% commission. Some can be higher or lower, depends on, some people have Genius or they have any kind of loyalty programs, mobile app costs with the high virtual credit card costs that we spoke about earlier on, minus that. The net revenue on £120 that you would get back is £79.60. There has to be a better option than that. Kooble's option would be same booking minus the 15% commission, but actually 50% of that coming back to you in a dividend, taking off the small payment cost. The net revenue is £92.20. So look, it's quite clear to see here that a Kooble booking is the closest thing you can get to a direct booking for any business, whether that be this. And you could do a similar sum with any kind of restaurant or any kind of hotel where it doesn't need to be £120. It all works out that, as I said, with your dividend, it makes such a difference. So, like, putting that in real terms, if you were to move 3 bookings over a night to Kooble, people could save up to excess of £30,000 a year because of the corporate dividend and lower payments. It's important to remember also that people don't need to change who they do business with or what third-party operators they use. Just Kooble simply just offers an extended channel that actually pays back. So, what we would hope is when people look to outsource and use those third parties, you would imagine that Kooble, because you own the platform, would be the first port of call. Looking at third parties and how people would still use them, Ronnie, I think you wanted to have a chat around this.
Yeah, everybody realises that, everybody knows that direct bookings are the best. And importantly, Kooble won't put artificial barriers in the way of customers getting to making a direct booking. We won't put obstacles in the way. But everybody has to recognise that consumers have very valid reasons to use aggregating sites. Curation, inspiration, deals are just some of them. But Kooble aims to be the alternative platform where they can get all of that and have the satisfaction of using an ethically, locally owned site that allows them to put something back into the economy, a different kind of OTA. And the research that we've done, a lot of market research that we did via Stand Agency, showed that was quite high in consumers' minds, and people recognise the problems in the hospitality trade, and if they are offered the opportunity of doing something about it, then the research that we've done has indicated that they would want to do that. Stephen?
Perfect. So, look, it was clear when we were constructing the share price for Kooble in these times, especially, the cost of entry can't be a deterrent to joining. It can't, the reason that you're not a member of Kooble can't be because the price is too high. That's totally not in the spirit of a co-op. So what we try to do is price the cost of a share so that entry is affordable to absolutely everyone. Because as I did say, remember, more members, more customers, more bookings, more profits. This is the way that we hope it works. In fact, the way it will work. So memberships a vote and a share in the business. The profits are shared with the members. It's a one-time cost only, and it's actually based on the number of rooms. You had to keep this quite a flat line pricing, so the 200-bed hotel are paying a bit more than a 40-bed hotel, or with restaurants, we've got different kind of pricing structures, but the phase one for this clearly was bed and breakfast, self-catering hotel. We were moving into phase two as of sort of this month and next month to recruit quite a lot of restaurants. And there's some restaurants that have kindly come on today, so there will be further messaging sent out to that. So right now, obviously, the investment that we're looking for, and this to be part of Kooble, the cost to contribute and access those savings will actually be paid back well within the first year. I mean, the real money to be made for everybody is to join us and get the dividends back. So for hotels and bed and breakfast, it's 0 to 40 rooms. It's £15 per room with a minimum investment fee of £499. So really well priced. 49 to 150 is £7.50 per room. So that will scale up to £7.50 until 150 rooms are at, and then from 151 onwards, it's just as little as £5 a room. We're taking a snapshot of that. 40-bed hotel would pay £600, and a 200-room hotel would pay £1,600. Self-caterers, kindly priced as well. Obviously, £499 for a flat fee for anything up to 4 units, and it's just simply just £100 a fee for any other unit afterwards. We've got a cap on there of £1,499 to keep that there as well. So, look, it's a one-time investment. For whatever reason, someone sells the business or you don't want to be part of Kooble anymore, for whatever reason, your share can be returned and paid back in full. There's actually no downside to this. The cost to contribute is to actually get those savings and dividends and be part of something. Like we want people interacting with this cooperative rather than, if people are in it for commercial reasons, fine, that's fine. But to have people that are really contributing would really be something. So it's important to remember it's not a fee, it's an investment. And touching on cooperatives, this is something that's close to your heart, Ronnie, and Ronnie's obviously had this idea around bringing this all together. So really strong on the history and current history of cooperatives. Can I bring you in just to kind of let people know, how powerful they are, Ronnie?
Yeah, maybe I was different in that I grew up next to the Kirkintilloch Kinkelsyth cooperative dairy. So in my mind, cooperatives were always important things. But once we started talking to people and doing the market research, we realised that a lot of people had no idea how prevalent co-ops were. But once you start looking for them, co-ops are absolutely everywhere. 12% of the world's economy goes through cooperatives. If you put all the cooperatives in the world together, they would be bigger than all the world's multinationals put together. So this is not small cheese. This is a very viable economic model that works across the globe in tens of thousands of instances. But the one co-op that I think is a really good model and one to look at is one called Fonterra, which is based in New Zealand. And New Zealand, of course, is a country the size of Scotland. And in Fonterra, 10,000 New Zealand dairy farmers, just 10,000 of them, supply 1/4 of the world's milk. And that's the kind of producer cooperative that we are trying to emulate. That's the kind of success that we are trying to build in Scotland. I think, Ruth, you're on the next slide.
Sure thing. Hello, everyone. I'm Ruth Browers, the head of marketing at 5 PM, soon to be Kooble. I'm going to talk about some of the launch marketing around the new brand. And as Stephen mentioned, because 5 PM is pretty much becoming Kooble, you're going to get the best of both worlds. You'll get the far-reaching appeal of the dynamic new brand of Kooble, plus the loyal engagement of 5 PM's dedicated audiences. As Stephen says, we're not going from a standing start. We're going to be, a few miles ahead. 5 PM users are going to be migrating to Kooble. You'll have access to a built-in audience already eager to support a local fairer booking platform. For launch, we'll be using a multi-channel approach to help fuel awareness, ignite engagement and drive sales for Kooble and its members. Some of this activity includes, PR activity to showcase a unique story of Kooble. We'll have a big influencer campaign where key influencers share their excitement for the new brand. And we're wanting to catch the eyes and ears of Scottish consumers through widespread social advertising and paid media. And of course, Kooble will have its own inbuilt brand ambassadors. You own the platform, so are therefore incentivized to share relevant material about it. If you could go to the next slide, Stephen, please. Good, Stephen. Oh, thanks. So coming up with a new brand, I mean, it was an exciting process, great to be part of. We used, as Ronnie said, Stand Agency, a kind of well-known branding agency in Glasgow. And through coming up with Kooble, that also came with it a new defined set of brand values that help shape our communications. So these brand values are, for Kooble, are Scottish, aspirational, human, ethical, and different. And how that looks in terms of our messaging to consumers, we are translating this as Kooble booking but better. Better in every single way. It's fairer, cheaper, bolder, braver, more personal and more prolific, offering up more trips and more experiences that you will love. And then because you, the members, are more likely to release your best rates first on Kooble, the platform you own, as you get the dividend back, how we can translate that to consumers is, they'll have first access to the best in Scotland. The first access to the very best offers, exclusive availability and the most coveted rooms. Get local expertise the big boys can't buy. Let us inspire your adventures, pinpointing all the amazing places to stay, eat and enjoy. And as we've said, the kind of ethical value is one of the key.
Gone on to mute, Ruth.
Yep.
Sorry, Ruth, someone's put you on mute.
Oh, hello?
That's better.
Did you hear any of that, or yeah?
Yeah. It was only 10 seconds.
Okay, so to show the ethical nature of Kooble, we're telling consumers that your money stays in Scotland. By choosing Kooble, you're making a conscious decision to support Scotland. As a cooperative owned by our members, every penny you spend stays right here. We're empowering local businesses, ensuring your adventures have a positive, sustainable impact. And as Stephen said, because there's this set of users who are already familiar with the 5pm brand, Stand Agency, branding agency, they recommended that we try to transfer some of that brand equity to Kooble by using the phrase powered by 5pm. And this also helps to kind of show the human aspect of the brand as well. We're going to tell them that we're not a big machine, we're just real people who really care, giving you the 5-star support and experience you're used to. So that's a bit around the marketing of Kooble. We've got lots of members already signed up, and to give you a flavour of why they've been joining, here are some testimonials. So Linda Gilroy, the sales manager at the Barony Castle and Tontine Hotel, says, after listening to the webinar, we could see no reason not to join. The opportunity to increase business and recover a percentage of the commission paid out. What's not to like? Sean Burt and Paul Brownlee, hotel directors of Invercarse, they said it makes absolute sense to save on kind of the smallest margins, and they understood the scale aspect of the cooperative, that it takes it takes you joining to save even more in commissions and take them out of the hands of the international conglomerates. Jackie Hudson, who's a revenue manager at 10 Hill Place in Edinburgh, they've already kind of worked with 5pm in the past, and she's keen to kind of promote and work with a new Scottish booking platform. Sandra Cunningham, who's a sales manager at Lodge and Loch Lomond. She thought it was an easy choice after having a great working relationship with us over 10 years anyway. It was mainly the kind of benefits of the dividends at the end of the year that were really appealing to her, because who doesn't want to take some margin back on the commission given out to others? I'll just pass back to Stephen now.
Thank you, Ruth. I hope you don't think we're going to go through another 100 testimonials there, so that was just a snapshot. So what we're asking now is to join us. You'll actually be in good company. This is a snapshot again of some of the investors and supporters and members of Kooble that are committed and really like what we're doing here. Real dino Scottish businesses, and really excited to have them on board. And hopefully there's more here today that will join us. Look, it's been a pleasure to chat through Kooble. Look, our plans, and our plans, I hope we have, like I said, some future members sitting here today. Look, to join, you can simply email sales@kooble.com. We will also be in touch and share more details after the day. We've really worked hard on bringing this from an idea, as Ruth mentioned, to then a design, now to market. And from the team, there's been an astonishing amount of hard work that's went in so far. But yet, we're just at the beginning of our journey. So it's really excited by that, and coupled with the response that we've had from our partners and obviously the industry itself, it's really been overwhelming. I'm really, really proud to be part of the team that's delivering this for the industry. Lastly, this collaboration will redefine the booking landscape. We feel it will empower our industry and safeguard the interests of Scotland with the business that you own. So coming to the end of the presentation now, I'd like to thank everyone for their time and the team at STA for helping set this up, and certainly welcome any questions.
Stephen, Ronnie, Ruth, thanks very much indeed for the presentation. So if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask, as I say, if you could please maybe raise your hand using the hand icon. There's a couple of questions in the chat already. I'm sure you will have questions, but I suppose just a quick few words from me. I mean, I do, as I said before, I think this is a really fantastic initiative. I mean, looking back to our National Tourism Strategy, Scotland Outlook 2030, to be world leaders in 21st century tourism, you know, it really has at the heart of that strategy sort of focus on business, experience, people, and place, looking through the lens of sustainability from a business point of view. How can we be more efficient, more productive? How can we reach a wider audience in a fairer and more inclusive way? So all of the values and the principles that Kooble has sort of set out to achieve and deliver for Scotland and for Scottish businesses, I think is a real fantastic position to be in. You talked about DMOs. We know that, you know, the sustainability of funding destination management organisations going forward is going to be a challenge as the public purse is diminished, and finding some form of commercial revenues and things that can be generated through partnering and initiatives like this will be obviously a means to supporting what is an essential part of our fabric. So lots in there, and innovation, of course, is very much at the heart of the national government strategy, entrepreneurship, and I think all of that stuff is demonstrated here. And 5PM, having that as a backbone, which has very much been, you know, an institution now in our society, and bringing that customer base and all of that platform, I think is what a starting point. And as Ronnie said, you know, for the 11 years or so, 10 years or so that have gone by, there's been lots of chat, but nobody's delivered. And here it is, alive and already with businesses signed up to supporting it. So as I say, please raise your hand. We've got a real broad range of guests on the call today, from, you know, small self-catering operators to managing directors of hotel chains, to brand operators, to DMOs, and obviously consultants and government officials, etc. So whilst you are finding the hand icon, I'm going to ask, there's a couple of questions in the chat. One's from Ronald Little. Ronald, I think, is the GM of the Courtyard in Edinburgh, the Marriott Courtyard. And his question is, will Kooble be working with brands such as Marriott and Hilton for direct connect, so that it is one inventory for the hotels? I think there's an obvious answer to that. Yes, we would love to, but I don't know whether there's been any conversation or discussion with any of the brands to date.
I'll take that one. So Ronald, thanks. We are in conversation with many channel managers and making inroads, and some with the direct channels. I was actually on a call with someone from Hilton yesterday talking about this very same thing, about getting access to direct connect, and that is all possible. Now, we're unfortunately behest in the hands of the integration teams for those companies, but the proof of the pudding will be if Kooble gets to a stage when it's so big that people just can't ignore, and it gets kicked up the ladder in terms of, you know, the integration becomes so important that it gets looked at quicker. So yes, Ronald, our aim is to get integrated with every single channel and every single brand that has, especially their own direct connect through their own means. When that will happen, it's clearly in the hands of those businesses. Our development and technology team are ready to go to do a push or pull API at any point. We're working hard as a force to try get through to make sure that connection happens.
I think it's important to say that what would really help here would be it will be really essential that the members themselves canvass the relevant channel managers that are using to say that they want this integration to happen, because unless the channel managers are pushed, they won't do it. So there needs to be a concerted effort from the members the co-op themselves to say, look, we want this to happen, get this to the top of your priority list. That's important.
Strong advocacy and internal sales and push, yeah, absolutely. And then we've got Diane Ramsey. Diane is Westerderry Farm Holidays. So the question is, do we need to take online instant bookings, or can we stipulate guests send booking requests in instead? Very keen to join, as we have our own renewable cooperative and love the structure, but just need to understand a bit more about the booking process.
I'm happy to take this one also. Yeah, the answer is yes to both. I mean, there's some of the channel manager products we're working with direct bookings for some self-caterers that's just about done and integrated, so that's great. But right now, at 5 PM, have not been really working with, channel manager products for years, but yet we've still managed to be able to process those bookings. We have our own online extranet. We also operate by telephone call or reservation just now, so that would be in the form of a voucher sale or something that someone could buy. We're open and able to process any kind of booking method just now, but predominantly, ideally, people want to have that direct connection, and that's what we're working hard to get for every. Once you open the hood of these channel manager products, you find there's like about 100 of them, so it's really difficult to try. We're working our way through the list, and we'll get there. But at the moment, someone can join Kooble and still work on the same basis they did previously with 5 PM. Either working on selling a voucher, or working on certainly just working on a shared calendar or an extranet that we can provide that's actually really good technology for what it does. So yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. Amy Gibson, I'm going to come to you next. Amy, where you're from?
Oh, just unmute myself. Hi, sorry. I'm from Creatomatic. We're a web developer based in Lockerbie. And I've got a couple of questions for you, mostly technical. Some of it you've already answered surrounding the channel manager integration and that kind of thing. We have a lot of clients, obviously, in this area, hotels, hospitality, and self-catering clients especially. We deal a lot with clients who use SuperControl as a channel manager, for example. And with this concept being something that I think a lot of people in the area are going to be really interested in getting involved with, will you be looking to? I'm just trying to get my head around how the push-pull API will work for people. Will you be looking to add Kooble as essentially another channel that SuperControl can link up to, or would it be the other way around? Are they looking?
I can take that. We can. I can get our technical team to make direct contact with you, give you the exact technical answers. But the SuperControl integration has been at our end been pretty well 95% built for quite a long while now. So it's all. I'm not sure what has to be done, but I can categorically assure you that the vast majority of the integration has been done. How it's exactly working, I need to get somebody technical to come back to you.
That's fine. That it just answers that question, just in case people start coming to us and saying, are we able to stay with SuperControl, or do we need to move to another? So we can have a chat to the SuperControl guys about that one as well. The next one was surrounding API. So if people, for example, are using SuperControl, they're quite often taking direct bookings through their own website. So if they are not using a channel manager, for example, and are just using Kooble, and you've got API that you say we could use to integrate booking onto the client websites, is that correct? We would be able to build in a booking system on our client's website so that they could take direct bookings through Kooble on their own website. Would that be?
That's a good point. That's not something that we had really thought about too hard. We thought about the DMOs using it. As for individual operators using it, nobody's asked that question yet, but I don't see why it shouldn't be possible. It's a very good point. Thanks.
It would be something we'd love to explore. Certainly,
love to explore that with you if we can catch up in this later.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Amy. I guess a couple of other similar type questions that follow on. Lynn Williams, does Kooble does signing up for Kooble preclude us from listing with other platforms? And then also David Anderson, and similar question then, as a single unit self-caterer, we don't offer many offers such, but does Kooble work for us as a basic booking platform? So I'm saying, probably got the answers myself, but I'll let you go, Stephen.
Yeah, so yeah, I did mention to the presentation. I don't know if that was the part I was muted or not. It was this does not stop you from using any third-party platform. Kooble adds to add. I mean, we'd love it if you just use Kooble. That'd be great, wouldn't it? If we can have all the bookings and work with you, and you can work with us, it's great. But no. You know, we're not at the stage yet where we can just simply turn off these massive taps that people rely on. So it's another channel that's going to be there. It's a channel that gives back. The growth of it will depend on the people that use it, the amount of members we have in it, and certainly the scale of it. But yeah, that doesn't preclude anybody from using any other channel. It's just to another channel that actually just gives back. Second question, Mark, was around, sorry?
Yeah, the second question is from David Anderson. As a single unit self-caterer, we don't offer many offers as such, but does Kooble work for us as a basic booking platform?
I think that leads on more to Amy's question as well in terms of API. So yeah, I think Ronnie's kind of half answered that. But listen, we can get all those nailed down and sent round to actually. The answer to it is yes. Yeah.
If you could just drop the questioner, I've just missed the name, was.
It was David Anderson. It's in the chat, Ronnie. We'll make sure we.
Can you just drop us a direct email at the email address, and we'd like to pick that up with you directly and just discuss through what you're.
It can be done. We can just use the API for that. See.
Okay, and then we've got another question from Kath, and I don't know if this is Kath from Speyside Wildlife, but possibly is. Have I understood correctly? Is this just an accommodation providers who can join at the moment, or is it open up to a wider business base? So tour operators, visitor attractions, etc.
Yeah, I'll take that. Very definitely, we want to talk to tour operators and visitor attractions, and we've had many conversations with Gordon, who's at the Association of Scottish Visitor Attractions. He was a very keen supporter of the whole idea. I think he actually said, if we didn't join, if we didn't support this, my members would be asking why the bloody hell not. But we are in a position that we have to prioritise. We have to boil a cup before we boil an ocean. So what we're addressing first is the hotel and self-catering market with restaurants and spas. The technical integrations with visitor attractions are slightly more complex. We will get to them, but we would certainly be wanting to list and promote any visitor attraction through the methods that we have at the moment, and as much as possible. But because of the particular technical problems that are in those business sectors, it is going to take us longer to get to that. I hope that answers the question.
Can I just add in something there? Ronnie talked about how this concept, can expand geographically. But, the problem exists in all booking markets, so it can expand horizontally as well. So, I mean, but yet, like you said, we have to, boil water in a cup first. But there's so much opportunity with the idea, but we have to start somewhere.
Yeah, for example, the takeaway sector has a gigantic problem, but there's no reason why 2 years down the line that particular sector should not be looked at, and we try and solve the problems there, because there's vast leakage in that sector, but that's not a priority for us at the moment.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm assuming that's the right Kath as well. So Lynn's come back with another question around, if permissible, another question. How does Kooble manage STL license data? So I'm not quite sure. Lynn, if you're on the call here, maybe you want to expand verbally on the question.
Yeah, Mark, thank you so much. It was just really, obviously, from other platforms currently being used, we are asked now to declare our license as we receive them. EPCs, etc. So is it going to be similar with Kooble? Are they going to monitor STL licenses?
I will fess up and say I don't think we've thought about that. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. We'll look into it.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay, Lynn. Thanks for expanding on that, and then I'm sure Ronnie will come back. Then a couple of other questions. I see we've got a couple of hands up. Mags McNeil from Scottish Enterprise, and then James from the National Park. So we'll go to Mags first.
Hi, thanks. My question was really around promotion to industry. Ruth talked about consumer promotion of Kooble. Obviously the STA are doing a great job, and yourselves directly in getting messaging out to the sector, but is there another kind of additional layer of campaign and awareness raising that we can possibly help and support with through our wider networks, the DMOs, etc.?
Sure, I can take that. Yeah, I mean, obviously we want support wherever we can get it. We started the pre-launch of Kooble, which by pre-launch I mean to the trade, to try and get the members signed up. The end of July, start of August. So yeah, the SDA have been very useful in promoting it to their members. We've also been doing, a lot of our own activity to our own kind of trade contacts through LinkedIn and all our usual channels. But yeah, I mean, any support Scottish Enterprise can give us helping to communicate the message would be gratefully received.
Great. Well, I'm particularly thinking about the Edinburgh Tourism Action Group from my point of view, just to help raise awareness and signpost to Kooble as an opportunity for businesses to consider. So
Ideal,
anything that you can
details.
send through to us.
Yeah,
perfect. I'll drop you an email afterwards.
Certainly,
Ruth,
I was going to say Ruth's produced a lot of material, but if I can emphasise here, this is a mindset thing. This is your business. So what we're wanting is what has to happen is that the members have to promote this themselves. They have to talk to other people. Why haven't you joined Kooble? I've joined it. This is why. So people, if they have to get themselves into the mindset that this is a business that they own and they should be promoting it as well. So we have to get that message over, and if that message gets through, then that self-promotion will snowball.
And Mag, just so you're aware, we'll be doing with the Destination Forum community that we've got around the STA, obviously the presentation to that community and the wider council group, but it is about driving scale and advocacy, and the team are going to be at our conference in October, and there's lots of opportunity to engage, but word of mouth and voice. So we'll continue to obviously share all the updates and the promotional piece through our channels. But yeah, if everybody puts their name to it, then it's good for Scotland, it's good for business, and it's good for the consumer as well. So really key, particularly I suppose articulating the offset of challenges of cost pressures as well. Businesses have got to be very warm to this. So James, out in Loch Lomond, how are you, sir?
Very well, Mark, thank you. And I'm on today as Chief Executive of the Steamship Sir Walter Scott Trust out at Loch Katrine. And really my question probably aimed at Ronnie, given some of the earlier comments. And we are unusual in that we have, obviously as the name suggests, we have boats, with boat trips, but we also have glamping, we also have catering, and we also have other activities at our site. We currently work very well with 5 p.m. and, for example, just now we have 4 offers on the platform. One is a stay and sail, one is a sail and afternoon tea, one is a sail and lunch, and there's another one which I forget just now. Just seeking clarity as you move to Kooble, what happens to that if you're saying you're a couple of years away from working with attractions, for example, where we're combining, as I say, sometimes catering and an attraction, or accommodation and an attraction. Will 5 p.m. be kept live for a little longer while you're doing transition, so that the offers we, likes of companies like us, have on the platform can still use the platform while you're transitioning?
Yeah, anything that 5 p.m. can do just now, Kooble will be able to do. What I was trying to say was to say that if you're looking for deep technical integrations with some of the the existing technology providers for attractions, then that's technical work that we know we need to do, and it needs scoping out. That's what I was talking about. It's those technical integrations that we know that we have limited resource and will take time to get to. But anything that 5pm does just now, Kooble will also.
Okay, thanks very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to come back to another question which Anson Bartlett had raised around, I guess, the modelling of the financials for Kooble to be successful. Is there a minimum and an ideal number of members in terms of target membership?
Now, was there a question for there? I lost my connection briefly.
Yeah. So what's the target membership for Kooble to be successful? Is there a minimum and ideal number of members, or is it the more the merrier?
Well, if you look at the total addressable market in Scotland, I think there's something like 2,000 hotels. So we'd be aiming for certainly for about the 500 hotels at the moment. 5pm probably touches and deals with it at some point, 500 hotels. So we'd be wanting to get to, for Kooble to get to somewhere around about, it would be reasonable to have a target and after a year or so to have about 1,000 hotels. I think that would be possible.
And then on top of that, of course, you've got the wider accommodation sector, B&Bs and guest houses, where we're into the multiple of thousands. So I think we sort of go on the pretense that there's around 20,000 tourism and hospitality enterprises in Scotland, which again registered. So there's a big pool there to go at. So and then I'm coming to Rosemary, just for some clarity. Is it £15 to join per room as a bed and breakfast, and £4.99 for self-catering properties? They operate both, but that's a huge price difference between self-catering and B&B. Sounds great, but is there a deal to be had, I guess, if there's the fact they offered both types of accommodation?
I'll take that. The one thing that's, I suppose, less pressure on me now is that because it is a cooperative, there's no sweetheart deals anymore. Everybody gets the same, because that's the best way to keep it fair. But there are people that do have a small bed and breakfast and a couple of self-catering properties. We can't just go by the book and have people paying for two different businesses when they're under the same business. So what we would look at, which would be if the bed and breakfast operated 6 rooms and there was one cottage, we would just operate under the cottage and charge the £100 extra for that unit rather than £4.99 and £4.99. So that keeps it really fair. And like I said earlier, the cost of entry can't be the reason that you don't join. So there is an understanding to be had there with everyone. But certainly we have to really, really play with a straight bat for everyone on this, because everybody's all members. They're all, we are now, I suppose, aligned with, our owners, I suppose, our members now. So we've got to make sure that we keep everything above board. But like I say, we're going to be sensible around that and not make the cost of entry something that's preposterous for a small business like that.
Okay, Stephen, thank you very much. Right, I'm conscious of time. We've got about 3 minutes left on this particular call. There's been some great questions so far. Again, I'm sure people will want to reflect on what they've heard and maybe go back and talk with colleagues. Elma, is it possible to send out the answers through the self-catering own website questions that you're answering? This is actually being recorded as well, this particular webinar, so apologies, I should have said that earlier. And so we will be able to share the recordings, and you can sort of wind it back with colleagues as well and listen to it too.
And Mark, we've got a trade website that's there, and there's a huge amount of FAQs on there. I think that would be good to share with everyone, because it goes really in depth into some of the questions that maybe aren't obvious 10 minutes after you've just heard about Kooble that may come to you later on. So I think that's important to share also.
Yeah, definitely. And the follow-up from today's session, everybody on the call will receive the links as well to the websites, and obviously into the Scottish Tourism Alliance website too, which and Kooble are listed in our advice and support hub to business. If you've not actually looked at that page, there's all sorts of other sort of intelligence and advice from the partners that we have, so you can connect through that way too. And as I mentioned earlier, the team will be in Edinburgh with us on the 31st of October. And Ronnie is going to be there. You're going to nod your head, Ronnie. Yeah, good. Thank you. That's great. And I would say that conference is nearly sort of finalised in terms of the agenda. There'll be a lot of talk about sort of insights, looking at travel trends, and certainly information that's really good insight and information for every business. Some chat about AI and ChatGPT, art of communication, and really trying to address this conversation around 21st century tourism. So if you haven't booked your ticket yet, I always use the opportunity to promote and sell my own gig. There's an early pre-sale for tickets for anybody on this call, actually. That runs up until this Sunday, and then the ticket prices do increase slightly. But there's over 200 already registered colleagues, so it's well worth taking that day out and coming through to Edinburgh to be part of what will be a good day and an opportunity to meet the team here from Kooble in person as well, if you've got questions for them then, but hopefully you will have some more and engage with them prior to the 31st of October. So on that note, I'd just like to thank everybody for signing up and being part of today. And Ronnie, Ruth, Stephen, wish you all the success with this, and thank you for bringing what I think is a really great addition to the Scottish tourism and hospitality scene, and something that is there to support the industry, support Scotland, and, as I said, give our Scottish consumers a much greater opportunity and broader opportunity to have good prices given to them as well. So on that note, I will say farewell.